He's actually the CEO of Starbucks at the time. Howard Schultz, that was his name. He said, "Well, entrepreneurs' dream is to make money in their sleep."
Mm. Yeah.
And I said, "Make money in my sleep?" He said, "Yes, you want to make money in your sleep. That means that you could go to bed and wake up, and it's 10 times more than what it was when you was awake."
What's up, y'all? This is Paris Harrington back with another episode of Life Untold. Today we have a very, very special guest. Today we have Mr. Corinthian Washington of Jackson, Mississippi. How you doing today?
What's up? What's up?
Everything going good with you today?
Oh yeah, man, just out here working, bro.
Okay,
Had to
okay.
check on some stuff.
Now you out traveling right now as we speak?
Yeah, I'm actually in Santa Barbara.
Okay,
That's where
okay,
my accountant lives. So I'm gonna be out here till probably Thursday.
okay, okay. Awesome, awesome.
So yeah, man, it's nice out here, bro.
Do you visit California a lot?
Yeah, I just live out here.
Okay, okay, cool.
I lived out here for about 5 years, bro. Yeah, this is my
Okay.
first time in Santa Barbara though. So yeah, it's nice out here.
Oh, nice. Okay. So what we're gonna do, man, we're gonna start from the very beginning, man. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh yeah, so Corinthian Washington. Everybody called me Coco. Students call me Coco. Been calling me that for years. Technically from Jackson, Mississippi, neighborhood, typical area, but lived all over though. Was actually in Queens, New York, for about I'll say 6, 7, 8 years on and off. Living
Okay.
with my aunt. Came back to Jackson, bro. Settled in. Done a lot of things, between here and there. When I was in Queens, New York, I went to IS 145.
And what is
Went
that?
to Forest Hill. It was a public school. I think I would say back then it was probably a charter, but it was elementary through high school. But I only
Okay.
served like 2 years in elementary school. Then came to Jackson with the span, of course. Left, came to Chastain. Went to Callaway High School. Graduated from Callaway High School, and went to Jackson State University.
Okay. So
So
we're gonna pull it back. We're gonna pull it back a little bit. So you said that you originally is from Queens, New York. Do you remember the age, the transition coming from Queens, New York, or were you so young that you didn't really notice?
I first went to Queens when I was like 3. It was with my aunt. My mom sent me well, actually, because there's so much in between. Actually, my mom sent me with my aunts, and I was in Atlanta, Georgia. Was in Atlanta, Georgia, and then we moved from Atlanta to New York, and that was with my other aunt. So when I was there probably until I was like maybe 6 or 7. Came back to Jackson. Well, probably went back to Atlanta first, but came back to Jackson. Then went back to New York with my aunt again. Because at the time, my mom was trying to get herself together. She was trying to go back to school and all that. My aunt and my uncle that was taking care of me for a while. I can remember enough in the household. It was pretty. I can give you some details, but I was just so young.
Yeah.
But when I
Yeah.
came back to Mississippi, to Jackson, everything just kind of like went from there as far as like my life, my education, and everything like that. So it was a journey.
When you came to Mississippi, tell me what was life like. So, obviously, a lot of people know what it's like growing up in the South, growing up in,
hmm
in Mississippi. But what was life like for Corinthian growing up in those early years? Was both parents in the pictures? What was that like?
So when I came back to Jackson, settled in Jackson, I was staying with my grandparents. With my mom, me, my mom, my brothers, and my grandparents. My mom had 6 boys.
Hey,
So
were you the youngest?
I'm the oldest.
Oh, hey,
hmm So
a lot of
all of
pressure.
us, yeah, all of us in the house, in between, she was having more kids. So all of us in the house, my grandparents was pretty much taking care of things, kind of still pretty much raising my mom. My mom was young. My mom had me at 16. She was still in high school. She was at Bailey High School at the time. I was staying with my grandparents. My granddad was pretty much like the sole provider in the household. And that's when, after so long, my mom actually moved in with my brother's dad. When she moved in with my brother's dad, it kind of got crazy because he was a drug dealer. He ended up getting murdered a little after that. And
So it's
then
your dad that got murdered?
my brother dad got
Your
murdered.
brother there. Okay.
My brother dad got murdered. But luckily, y'all, I seen a lot. But I was always sheltered under my grandparents because my granddad was more like he was a military guy, number one. He had a very, very strict iron fist
Yeah.
on my upbringing. But my dad, I knew him, I knew of him, but he was on the run. He ended up being in Memphis and Jackson, back to Memphis, back to Jackson. I think Ohio for a minute. Yeah, he was. No, he was in that drug lifestyle too. I was with my granddad and my grandparents, and then one time I never forget it. I was probably like in I think maybe fourth or fifth grade. I was going to Spain at the time, Spain Elementary, and my dad actually stopped by. It was my first time ever just seeing him, or that I can remember. He stopped by. Then my granddad was like, "Hey, that's your dad." And I just kind of was like mad about it. Like, I don't want to see this nigga, like I don't want to see this man. So
Big fat. Yeah, I got you.
yeah, he left. My granddad got pissed off at me, beat my ass, said, that's your dad. Well, I remember that. And then I'll say, when I got to middle school, Chastain, he came by, and then, I kind of, accepted him a little more. But he had ended up getting sick.
Now the question I have, I know you said that the first time that you initially met your pops, you didn't accept them. You were so angry, and then grandpa told you, hey, that's your pops. No matter what, that's your
Right.
pops. No matter what's going on
Hmm.
in life. What was the transition that made it so that come middle school, you said that you did accept them? I'm a big person when I tell people actions speak louder than words when it comes to it. So was it grandpa telling you I'm gonna beat your butt if you did not accept your pops, or was it that something happened in between there where you was like, hey, let me give him a chance?
Well, I don't think it was necessarily something in me that just said, hey, let me give him a chance. I think it was just more like my granddad was a military guy, and I like
Hmm.
feared this guy, like
Yeah.
literally feared him. And he just told me like, hey, that's your dad. Ain't nothing you could do about it. You need to take a chance. So I did it based on him. When I got older, man, I had thought about it. A lot of my women in my household, my mom was more of that young mom. So she was more of, your dad ain't shit, this,
Yeah.
that, and that. So I think all that was just in me at the time, and I was just kind of listening to that. If I could go back, it would have been more like a father-son relationship that I probably would have accepted. Because I was so on and off with it. When you young dog, you don't really just think that way. Like, this
Yeah.
is my dad, but he wasn't in my household.
Yeah.
I didn't really just have that tight relationship that I should have had. But it is what it is. So,
And I always tell a lot of young people, you can't help the family that you're brought into, but you got to realize that people come from different time. We all make mistakes. We all human. And at the end of the
mhm.
day, you accept your pops. It might not have been for him. It might have been for you. And when you said that, did y'all relationship grow from there? I know you said he got sick. Did y'all relationship nourish more? Did it move forward, or how did it turn out?
When I got in middle school, and I don't want to say this, but I felt like at the time that because my dad got sick, he came around. I guess you could say a start
Yeah.
because I had other brothers and sisters I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
So I got to meet them. This was like a start. At the time, though, he came around. It was a I never called this person dad, dog. Like,
Yeah.
no, you see what I'm saying? But he came around to where I'm like, okay, this guy, this is my pops. Okay, cool. I guess you could say we had like a little slight relationship. But when I got older, when I got in high school, especially when I started working and stuff like that, I kind of appreciated the fact that, okay, this guy is coming around, and I kind of need him. Every young man needs a dad. They need
Yes.
a dad. My granddad had passed when I was in middle school. When my granddad passed, I had no male figure in my life other than just my cousins. They are drug dealers, whatever. So I had no just well, were drug dealers, but I had
Yeah.
no male figure in my life. So my dad coming around, it was just more like, okay, that male relationship, that figure that I really, really needed at the time being in high school, man. It was, Jackson is a trap, bro.
Yes.
You could be good at one point, then something so small can kind of get you trapped. And
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
multiple times that I was almost trapped, especially in high school. But when my dad would kind of come around and kind of give me, like even a little simple lecture that I didn't want to listen to, at the end of the day, I feel like he kind of brought me around. Yeah, I needed him. Regardless of what I felt, I needed him. But at the same time, though, I tell people this all the time. Like when it comes to these fathers, bro, these mom, and my mama said the same thing too, cause she's grown now. She said when it comes to these fathers, a lot of bitterness from the children comes from the mom.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
mom don't want them around
Yeah.
because of the problems they had, and they feel like, okay, I'm gonna dictate the relationship they have with their children, not understanding that they're destroying their manhood. When a boy can't be around his father, you literally kind of taking away the manhood that he needs. Because a woman can't raise no boy the way a man can raise a boy.
Correct. And I
So
agree with you 100% on that when it comes to there's certain aspect that only certain people can teach. I don't care if
mhm.
you're the greatest mom in the world, you're the greatest dad. If you're the greatest dad in the world, there's only so much you can teach your daughter. You can teach her the independence, but you can't teach her that feminine side that she's going to have to learn either one by herself or the other women that's in her life. So it's always great to make sure that when we have these kids, that we are keeping them close in that, making sure we're very protective on the women and the men that we put in their lives because that's a direct reflection of how they're going to turn out.
Mhm.
So, and you brought up middle school, so we pull it forward a little bit more. What was middle school like for Corinthian? Coming up in those early years, I know you played some music. So, what was it like in middle school?
I mean, be real, bro. Like I actually hated middle school.
Okay.
I wasn't really, well, I'd say this much. Like when I was in a band, that's what kind of got me through it, being in the band. But I can't really just tell you much about just being in middle school. And to be real, like I wasn't supposed to go to Chastain. All of my friends were actually at Powell Middle School, so went to Chastain. It was kind of like a culture shock for me, I guess. I don't know, man. I just wasn't really fun of
Yeah.
the middle school environment. But when I got to high school, man, that was like some of the best years of my life.
You said in during that time you said something about the band. Was band something that you leaned on? Was that something that you got into or what exactly?
Yeah, 100%. My mom made me get in the band because I needed an outlet, bro.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy, man. I needed an outlet because my mom, when she moved from my grandparents, we actually lived in the first place we lived in was Vernon District. Then
Mhm.
we moved to Georgetown. Then we moved to West Side. So we was all over the place, man. It was crazy, bro. And it's a lot of stuff I don't want to say
Yeah.
because I don't want nobody. Don't want no convictions. But
Gotcha,
you
gotcha,
see what I'm
gotcha.
saying, yeah. But my dad had a big name in Jackson, bro. Because my dad had a big name, and everybody knew of my dad. When they see me, they were like, "Oh, you look just like Mike P." I'd be like, "Well, yeah, that's my dad. Okay, cool." So it was just these odd expectations.
Yeah.
Like, okay, are you gonna take over? I'm like,
Do you have to
no.
fill his shoes?
Yeah, yeah, because it was
Yeah.
to be real, it was enterprises in Jackson that started from my dad.
Yeah.
He was kind of like a person that he had an organization, and then other organizations kind of came from him. It was more like, hey, we gonna be waiting on you this day, this day. And I was like 14, 13 years old. I was like, I'm not thinking like an adult. I wasn't really thinking.
Yeah. You
You
just
know,
want to you just want to relax, go play outside and stuff, you know?
yeah, but then they were talking about money, and I was always a big fan of money.
Yeah.
Like it was times where, hey, bro, I need you to do this for me. I need you to do this for me. Ended up getting initiated in the Vice Lords. It was wild, bro.
Yeah.
So band was like more like an outlet, man. It was more of me staying straight.
Yeah. Now did
Staying.
you feel like that getting into the band that it pushed you straight on a narrow?
It was so weird, bro, because you remember like when you was in the middle school band, people used to have these band tapes.
Uh-huh.
The band tapes used to like get. traded around. So I remember I got over to a band tape. When I got over to a band tape, and I can't remember exactly who I got it from, but whoever I got it from, when they gave it to me, I took it home, and it had Southern University band on it in Baton Rouge. So
Uh-huh.
when I saw that, bro, that was like one of the best things that I ever seen in my life as far as like band. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I gotta go to this school. I'm looking at stuff, man, and whatever that was like. It wasn't just the band. It was like they was going around the campus stuff, campus and stuff with it. I'm seeing the girls and stuff like it. Just I was like, oh wow, I gotta do this. So when I got out of Chastain, went to Callaway, and I was so inspired. Like, dang, I gotta go. I gotta stay in band. I gotta stay in the band. I gotta go. I gotta get to college. So
And what
band was.
what instrument did you play in the band?
I played trumpet.
Okay.
I played trumpet in middle school, but
Yep, yep.
I played French horn when I got to high school. And I
Okay.
played French horn in college, but when I got to high school, man, my band director told me like, bro, you can get a scholarship if you just keep at it. My mom didn't have no money for me to go to school, dog, to go to college, but I knew I kind of wanted to go to college, so she would tell me like, look, whatever you need to do it. If you need to blow that horn, blow that trumpet, whatever you need to do, just do what you need to do, and then once you get to school, we'll take it from there. So yeah, man, I got like over $700,000 like combined in scholarships like at different schools,
Mm-hmm.
but ended up getting a math scholarship from the state of Mississippi. So I
Nice.
didn't get to go to Baton Rouge like I wanted to because the state of Mississippi actually covered my entire tuition if I went to a Mississippi school.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up at Jackson State and
Do you
playing.
have any hate and discontent that you didn't follow your dream and go to Southern?
It's like I'm not upset because in Jackson State University, like I had a great time. I was in the boom, I was in the Sunny Boom on the South. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of grew to it, but everybody just in the boom, all the older heads, they just knew I was going to Southern. When they saw me, it was like, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? You here? I'm like, yep. But it was
What
that
now? Did they
marathon.
know that you were going to Southern because you told them that because that was what you always spoke into existence, or was it a certain reason?
Well, it was more like when I was in high school, I had a Southern University band shirt,
Yeah.
like straight up, like it was like a big deal for me to go to Southern.
Yeah.
But ain't up at Jackson State, and I'm not upset about it. You go to school for to get educated, and I'm
Yeah.
glad I did. It's a lot of reasons. In fact, there's reasons I'm glad I went to Jackson State and then go to Southern because I learned so much heritage in Jackson. Just from Jackson State. So
Yeah.
Jackson State, well, yeah, it was an eye opener, man. When you go to a college campus, when you're in the neighborhood, you're in high school, and that's what I tell people about Jackson State. In Jackson, Mississippi, and Jackson State are totally two different worlds, bro.
It is.
Because when you're in the neighborhood, dog, it's almost like, okay, what's next? Like you really don't have like a supreme outlet. I'm the first one in my neighborhood that actually graduated high school. What no, in my generation. And I'm the first one to go to college. Me and my brother. So when I went to Jackson State, it just created focus.
Yeah.
It's
And
weird.
I
It's like
had to learn that too because I talk to a lot of people and I always say I never try to assume because when you assume you make an ass out of you and me, right? When you break down the word assume, ass, you, me, all together make it assume. So I tell people never assume anything. And I got on one of my past podcasts and I assumed that everyone from Jackson knew of Jackson State. Grew up in Jackson. We all know what Jackson State is. It's right up the street. But everybody that I asked, and you making, like the fourth or fifth person, like, bro, like stepping onto JSU was just different. So, how was your experience now that you're at JSU? Was it everything that you imagined being at a college, or what was that like?
some things that I could talk about that I can't talk about. Some things that I don't mind talking about. When I was in the boom, my college experience as a freshman was totally different because I was in the boom, so I was going through a process.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole life as a freshman was band, band, band.
And when
Band,
you say boom, just for the people that's
Sunny
listening,
Boom on
what?
the South, Sunny Boom on the South. When I was
Okay,
in the Sunny Boom on the South, right? Jackson State, Sunny Boom on the South, marching band. My
Hey,
life was the boom as a freshman, like literally. So everything that I was obligated to do at the time, I did, and it kind of took away my social life from college. I didn't really have that experience that I thought I was gonna have, watching movies and all that, or that, So it kind of took that away. But when I became a sophomore, I took a year out from the boom, and it wasn't that because I didn't like it. It was just more of I had to get my grades up. I had to keep my scholarship. I got a band scholarship, but I literally had a full ride for a math scholarship, and I was an engineering major at the time. So that's hard.
it's a lot of math.
Engineering is very hard. So I was a sophomore, keeping my stuff on point, and really trying to figure out, okay, do I really want to be an engineering major?
Yeah.
I think my college experience, just the real like academic college experience, kind of kicked in my second year.
And was it a reason why? Was it because you got acclimated to everything that was going on, or was it because you just knew your routine? Because I always tell people once you get a routine down pat, everybody always say I got so much time, I don't have enough time. But once you get a schedule, you start saying, hey, from this time to this time I do this, from this time to this time I do this. Your time magically opens up because you have managed it properly. So was it because of the time, or was it because that something just allowed it to be a little bit more experimental out there?
I think it's because when I wasn't in the boom as a sophomore,
Hmm.
I was kind of more free. And my schedule actually lined up. The way that it needed to line up. The boom dog takes up so much of your time, bro. Like a
Yeah.
lot of it. We'll be out there from 5 p.m. until 3 a.m. in the morning, dog.
Yeah.
Just bang. So I didn't really have time for no girl. I didn't really have time for a lot of stuff. I was a freshman, so it was just stuff I was required to do.
Yep.
When I became a sophomore, bro, that's when I kind of let myself out there more. Okay, I can put it this way. I don't probably been to like I don't probably been to a club 4 times in my life. I can count to the club, and two of those times was when I was a sophomore
Mm-hmm.
at that state, which is nothing that I don't really care to go back to one, but that
Yeah.
was my first experience, like just learning people, like how do they maneuver, like this is what they look forward to. I don't know, man. As a freshman, I'm kind of glad I got that experience. If I was just a regular freshman at Jackson State, I don't know, man, I probably wouldn't have made it through. I probably would have messed up, dog,
Yeah.
because I did have a like super mandatory schedule,
Yeah.
and my grades had to mandatorily be up. So it was a lot. So
And it, and
sophomore,
I think that boils down to just accountability, and that's why I'm a big person that like to push my young people, especially like my little sisters, nephews. I'm like, hey, you're in high school, you will join some club. The point of the club is not for you to excel and be the best in the world, but it
uh,
teaches you diversity. It teaches you to get into a crowd that you normally wouldn't get into. So I look at a lot of people and I be like, hey, you go to school, you get into your crowd, and then you stick with that crowd because you're comfortable. When you join a club like soccer, beta, debate team, the drama club, the presidential club, whatever the club is, you're getting with a group of people that you normally would never socialize with, thus making you gonna get with those Asians, those Arabs, the white people, the black people, the Latino people, and it's forcing everyone to come together, and you have to learn about that person to your left and right, which is a major skill that we need in today's society, and something that I did not learn that much of until I joined the military when I turned 17. So that's why I try to push my young people to do it. So we fast forward a little bit for you. I know you said you was in engineering when you started off, but you ended up graduating Jackson State in 2013 with the bachelor degree in business administration. What was that switch up like? Was that intentional? Was it something else that you saw coming, or how did that happen?
I don't know, man. It was just kind of at the time I was pretty much like running businesses, dog, in
Mm-hmm.
college. We had something called a supercard, bro. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it was a supercard. You could take that card and you can go to different places, and you could use it as money, but you couldn't get cash with it. Supercard. So I'm like, man, I need to figure out some ways I could take this card and I can make money. Like in my dorm room, dog, I almost had a store
Yeah.
because it was people who couldn't leave campus. They didn't have cars. They're from out of state. I would go buy cigarillos, blacks, mainly that stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
I probably wasn't legally able to do that.
yeah.
So look, I'm on a college campus, but I would do it and I would sell it out of my dorm, bro. I would like try to flip my money.
Yeah,
But even in high school, I had a business going on in high school. You
yeah,
see what I'm saying? So I was always into like, okay, let me make some money, let me flip it. I worked at McDonald's in high school and took my checks and I would flip it, doing trying to do something else.
yeah,
Try to make extra money. Which worked. Yeah, man, I was so business. My mindset was always on money, on business. So when I went into business administration, I was glad that I was able to learn those skill sets that I did know. Marketing,
yeah,
uh, or mainly psychology, more
yeah.
than anything. But
Yes.
marketing, finance, just learning those few steps that I needed to know, and then learning the economy. Learning economics, macro and macro,
Yeah,
micro and macroeconomics. So it like opened up a world for me, bro. And I'm like, dang, then I'll be thinking today, like, man, if I would have, what if I would have still been an engineer major?
yeah.
How would it been? What would it been like?
Yeah,
Well,
and I always say those things always harness the just the fear of not knowing what life would have been. I have a similar thing where I think about all the time what would life have been like if I had never joined the military at 17. Coming straight out of high school, a recruiter helping me to graduate because I didn't meet the requirements and them talking to my teacher and helping me. I always wonder what 17-year-old Paris Harrington would have been like. Would I have been a hothead? Would I have survived in Mississippi? It's something that I try not to think about, but it pops in my head. So you graduate from JSU and then you move to Cali in 2014 and
no,
start a business.
I actually moved the next day. I graduated December 13, 2013. Literally,
Uh-huh.
I left December 14, 2013.
For Cali.
Yeah.
Now was this pre-planned or you were just like I'm out of here, I'm done? Because you went on out to Cali and you went off on a limb and you started a company that we now know as Third Eye Booking Company. So was this all premeditated? Did you have this plan with you being a person, or you were just like, "Hey, let's do it"?
So at the time, I was my bandmate Jamaica because I was doing music at the time. Me and her, I was booking shows at the time, finding shows, bro. And then at the time, like I was just like looking anywhere. Ended up finding a show in California, in Los Angeles. Jamaica's from Los Angeles. She was
Mm-hmm.
ready to go home, so she said, "Hey, we gonna do the show or not?" I said, "Yo." She said, "Well, what are you gonna do?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna have to get in my car and drive to California."
When you say do the show, were you performing or were you what were you
Performing, yeah,
doing?
performing.
Okay,
Performing.
performing. Okay,
So I followed her. I got in my Honda Civic at the time, and we both drove to California, drove to Los Angeles, 36-hour drive. Probably a little longer then because we were doing a lot of stops.
uh huh,
And I was doing a lot of stops because that was the longest drive I ever took. And I kept on checking my car, making sure it was good. But drove to Los Angeles, and so Jamaica's mom at the time, well, her mom is Vanessa Bell Calloway, if you know what that
okay.
is. Yeah. So
I do not. I do not know who.
um, Coming to America.
Okay.
What
What?
else? What's love got to do with it?
Okay. I'm tracking. I'm tracking. That's her mom.
Coming to America. Yeah, the first queen that he didn't marry,
Ah, okay,
bought
okay,
like
I
a
got that,
dog.
gotcha. Okay,
Yeah, that's her mom.
okay,
So when I first went out there, first night, the first day, whatever, we stayed with her because she was like, hey, this my no, everybody knew who I was. That you ain't never seen me at the time, and
yeah,
she gonna stay with us. Okay, cool. They was staying in Baldwin Hills, which is like the rich, rich side of black people. So
yeah.
we're up there, dog. $400 is all I had in my bank account. $400. I was with Wells Fargo at the time. $400, and bro, when I was out there, I didn't have a plan at all. I didn't have a plan. It would be like, okay, what are you gonna do, bro? When are you going home? Because it wasn't like I took a flight. I drove.
Yeah.
Okay, now I gotta drive back. So we did the show at the Whiskey a Go Go, which is like a big thing, a big deal out there. And I ended up getting a job at the Whiskey a Go Go. Like later on, I ended up getting a job. But we did the show. We did another show, and then it was like, okay, what are you gonna do next, bro? Like, are you gonna drive home? Like, what you gonna do? But it was something about it, bro. It was just LA was just like kind of like a news, like just like bro.
Eye
It's
opener.
it's like everywhere you look, it's money being. You ever seen Baby Boy Dog? He stood
Yeah.
outside. He said, "Man, look at this. It's money. It's just it's transactions. That's how, bro. That's how it was. Like I literally was
Yeah.
just standing in Crenshaw Plaza, like, okay, it's money here, money here, money here. I was like 20. I was like 24 at the time, maybe 23, 24 at the time. Like, man, it's money here, money there, money here. I gotta try to figure out how I can make me some money. I never forget it, bro. I was like this close to leaving. I was this close to calling my mom, saying, "Mom, send me some money. I need some money." Calling my brother, like, "Bro, send me some money. I'm trying to get up out of here." But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try something because at the time, Jamaica's sister, Ashley Calloway, you know, which is up Vanessa DeBelle's Calloway daughter, she was working on acting, trying to be an actor. And I didn't drive. I wasn't driving my car up there a lot. So she said every morning she would wake me up, bro, like 5, 6 in the morning, which wasn't a big deal. And she'll say, "Hey, I'm about to go to downtown LA." I'll be like, "Okay, cool." She'll say, "You gonna ride with me? I'm gonna drop you out somewhere. You're gonna stay. You gonna be in downtown LA, and I'm gonna come back and pick you up at 5." I'm like, "Okay." So she would literally put me in the car, go to downtown LA. She'll drop me off, and she'll leave. So I'm in the middle of downtown LA by myself. I don't know nobody, no plan. I don't know what to do at the time. So the first time she dropped me off, bro, I never forget it. It was on a Monday. Came back at 5, picked me up. She said she called me, came and picked me up and said, "Hey, so how did it go?" I'm like, "How did what go?" You see what I'm saying? She's like, "How did it
Yeah.
go?" I'm like, what was I supposed to do? I never forget. She stopped the car. She said, "So you mean to tell me you've been out here for 9 hours? What did you do?"
Yeah.
I mean, I just kind of just walked around, like, went
Yeah.
sightseeing. She said, "But that's not why you was out here. That's not
Yeah.
what you were supposed to do." She said, "Okay, we're gonna try this again tomorrow. Drop you off downtown LA, and when I come back and get you, you gonna tell me what you did." I said, "Cool." So she dropped me off on a Tuesday, bro. This time, I'm like, okay, I'm assuming I'm supposed to be looking for a job.
You guess, huh?
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm assuming I'm supposed to be looking for a job. So I went around places. Are you all hiring? Are you all hiring? Whatever. Are you all hiring? You know, put in some applications. She called, picked me up. "Hey, what did you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I put in some job applications." Then she just kind of looked at me. She said, "So you came out here to LA to look for a job?" And I said, "I mean, I don't know." She said, "Well, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what we come downtown. You got the whole day to yourself. You got nothing to do but opportunity. You out here for opportunity. What are the job applications you put in?" I said, "Well, this place needs a dishwasher. This place needs this. This place." And she said, "You have a degree in business, and you out here doing that?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay." She said, "Okay, you know what? Tomorrow, we're going to try this again. Drop you off, and you're going to let me know what's going on." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So that Wednesday, bro, it was just like, bro, I want to go home. I
Yeah.
can't do this no more. You know what I'm saying? I can't do this. So she kind of had me tweaked out, dog. It was almost like hazing at the time. She was kind of
Yeah.
mentally hazing. I never forget it, bro. Went to this pancake spot, had my laptop, went in there, started looking at, okay, let me try to book some shows, whatever. So I'm in there on my laptop, looking for some places to, book. And this guy, bro, Jake Ayers, I never forget it. Didn't know this guy, never seen this guy. You know, I'm like, okay, who are you, bro? He sit me on my computer, and he would come over beside me. He said, hey, what are you doing? I said, oh, I'm trying to get some shows. And he kind of looked at me, he like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like, how you doing it? I said, well, I'm just filing emails, this, that, and that, just kind of filling in some gaps. And he said, oh, so are you a booking agent? I said, nah, I don't know what a booking agent is. He said, it's a guy that seeks shows for other bands. I said, oh, well, I'm seeking shows for myself, my bandmate. He like, oh, okay, okay, okay. He said, so how do you do all this? Like, what's this? It was like a spreadsheet I had created
Yeah.
in a PDF file I created, with a EPK at the time, and it was a spreadsheet. And he said, you did all this on your own. I said, yo, listen, how you learn to do all this? I said, when I was at Jackson State, doing learning job resumes, submitting assignments. He said, what's Jackson State, a college? I said, yeah. He said, oh, you went to college. I said, yeah. Yeah, look at me. We're like, oh, man, I never been to college. I said, he said, yeah, man. So what are you doing now? He said, what are you trying to do? I said, well, I'm actually trying to book a show. And he was like, okay, I tell you what, bro, come ride with me for a second. Now, I never seen this guy. I'm in California. I don't know nothing about this person, bro. But at the time, I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, what do you have to lose right now?
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking about. I'm like, what do you have to lose? So we uh we get up, go to the door. He talking to me. Walk to the walking to the parking lot. So as we walking, I'm just like looking at the cars, trying to say, okay, what car you going to? And it was a silver G wagon, like sitting like in the parking lot.
Mm.
So walk to the parking lot, and he said, "Come on, man, get in." It was a G wagon. I'm saying, okay, but then I'm still thinking to myself, like, man, this man might be a pimp. He might try to sex
Might be
trap me.
Jeffrey Dahmer, man.
I don't know nothing about this guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's going on? So he I get in, and then we drive. We down Hollywood Boulevard, and then we go to the Whiskey a Go Go, the venue. And I'm like, okay. He said, yeah, you told me you performed here before, right? I said, yo. He said, they're looking for a booker. And I said, oh, yeah. He said, they're looking for somebody to book shows, man. He said, man, you been to college, man. I'll tell him. I said, okay, cool. So we get out. I go in. This is lady named Heather, and she like, what can I do for you? She didn't even remember who I was.
Yeah.
And she
So
said,
many people flood through there, probably.
right. And she said, he said, oh, he's looking for a job. He's a booking agent. Like he just gave me that title. He was like, he's a booking agent. He's looking for a job. And then
Hey.
she said, oh, y'all like, what bands have you booked? I said, well, I booked my band myself. And she like, oh, okay, like, do you have any like experience? I just kept on talking about college. I said, well, I went to Jackson State. Did this, did this, did this. And then she said, I'm the manager of booking here. I said, okay, cool. And she said, yeah, I never been to college. Then she was just like, and Jake was just like, me either. And she said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give you a
Now,
shot.
do you think they were shocked that a college person, one, this gentleman got to see you working, bringing this PowerPoint presentation, this PDF file, this Excel sheet that you had, and I'm guessing he was intrigued by it. Do you feel like that he was kind of like, man, I could see this talent, and because they had never went to college, they kept saying that very vividly. Most people would take that offensive, but then the more you look at it from the outside in, you're like, man, maybe they were almost surprised or shocked and like amazed. Do you think that was the case?
I think it was that in Hollywood, bro, most people in Hollywood are like just straight entrepreneurs, dog.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. Just seeing me like doing what I was doing, I guess he felt like, man, this man actually has a little extra than what we can. Put it this way, Jake saw me and saw money that
Yes.
I didn't
Yes.
see. He
Yeah.
saw the money I did not see at the time. Heather saw money that I didn't see.
Yeah.
Literally saw money. So I think that my education was just like more of a plus for them. Like, okay, he's in the music industry. He knows. Did nobody teach me how to book shows, bro? I
Correct.
just learned that just from submitting assignments and shit. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just doing research. So Heather was like, I'm gonna give you a shot. I said, okay, cool. She said, I want you to come see me tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, I got you, I got you, I got you. And so 5 came around. Ashley called me. She said, where you at? I said, well, I'm somewhere right now. I kind of got a ride. And she was like, what? I said, yeah, I got a ride. I said, I'm good. And she said, okay. And then went back to their house and they said, no, what happened? I said, yeah, I kind of got a job off, at the Whiskey a Go-Go. They're like, what, the Whiskey a Go-Go? They gonna hire you? I said, well, they want to
Yeah.
hire me because it's a white establishment.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a white establishment. So she said, oh, they gonna hire you? Like, what did you do? Like, what did you say? And I was like, well, they just thought that they just this guy named Jake, whatever, trying to tell the story. It was almost kind of like far fetched. Like, okay, so you just up there.
Just
You
sitting
see,
there and it
you
just
see what I'm
fall into
saying?
your lap,
And
right?
he come to you. I said, yo. So ended up going the next day. Uh, uh, actually dropped me off, and she said, went to the whiskey. Then Heather saw me, and it was almost like Heather was just on some stuff like, oh, okay, yeah, you back. I said, yeah. And she was almost like, I didn't think you was coming back. I said, yeah, you told me to come at this time. And
Yeah.
it was like a big deal to her, like, oh, you actually came at the time I goes to the car. I said,
On
yeah,
time. Yeah.
yeah. And she said, okay, well, I tell you what, we're gonna see what you can do. I give you she go to your computer, and there's your workspace. I said, okay, so what do I have to do? So I need you to bring some talent in here. I said, like, bands? She said, yeah, we need bands performing every night. And your slot time is gonna be from 7 p.m. I think it's like 11.
Yeah.
So you need bands in for between 7 and 11 p.m. Monday through Sunday. I'm like, okay. She said, so that's your job. Book them, find them. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Bro, I was like, okay, I'm working for a venue. I don't know what I'm doing. Literally didn't know
Yeah.
what I was doing. I knew how to book bands like in venues myself, but I'm like, okay, she want me to book multiple bands Monday through Friday in venues. So in the venue, so bro, when I tell you, dog, that was some of the easiest money and fastest money I ever made in my life.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, working at the whiskey. It was they had a whole. It's kind of hard to explain, but in California, dog, in Hollywood, Hollywood is like it's a brand name for itself. To
Yeah.
be real, Hollywood is don't even look all that great to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it don't look all that great to me, but it's a name. It's a name that pushes itself. So it don't
Correct.
matter where you are in the world. If somebody say, "Hey, you do a show in Hollywood, and you're an artist," they're just like, "Oh, I'm gonna get famous. I'm about to get famous."
Yeah.
But it's just a venue.
Yeah.
Ain't
It's the
that really gonna
persona that comes with Hollywood,
exactly. It's persona. They had a system at the Whiskey a Go Go, bro, where you had to sell tickets. The bands. But these bands ain't from California. They're not from Hollywood. They can't sell no tickets. They don't know nobody, but they just excited to come, to be in Hollywood. The persona, like you said, the bands wouldn't sell the tickets. They were actually buy their own tickets.
Yeah.
They would buy them, and then they would buy the tickets, and then when they get to Hollywood, they'll go outside on Hollywood Boulevard. They just
Just pass
pass
them
them
out.
out,
There we go.
which is smart. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But that's what they'll do. But they would have 30 tickets, dog. Tickets would be like $10, so let's say $300 from each band. So if I had 5 bands on the bill that night, bro, I got 30% of each,
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
$300. Then I got 50% of the door, and I got 20% of the bar.
Uh, So the money starts to add up at this point.
But bro, I was making money.
Yeah.
Literally, I was making money. My fourth week there, I was able to get my own spot,
Mm.
a little
How did
apartment.
that? How did getting your own spot? How did that make you feel? Especially when you went from the $400 in your account to now, hey, I'm getting my own spot in Hollywood. Like, how was that feeling?
Man, it was like I was in my head. I was like, I see where everybody want to leave Mississippi, but
Boy,
yeah,
hey, I tell people a lot. I tell people the moment you
yeah,
leave Mississippi, don't shelter yourself. There's nothing wrong with Mississippi. I love our roots, but at the same time, there's so much world out there to explore. You know, you might go out there, you might see that you don't like it out there. You might want to come back. But I always tell people, get out there, explore, especially my young people. Get out there, explore. You have nothing holding you back. Go do it,
right. But see, I was grinding so hard at Jackson, bro, for everything I did. Cause see, I sold Direct TV in Jackson at the time.
Uh-huh.
I worked for Direct TV, so I was selling Direct TV, and it's almost like in Jackson, bro. And I tell people, I had on ankle weights in Jackson. I'm literally like moving with ankle weights.
Yeah.
So when I moved to Hollywood, it was like the ankle weights came out.
Come
So I
on.
was like going so hard. It was like kind of misunderstood. Like, why you going so hard? Like, hey, that's what I got to do, because that's
Yep.
what I'm used to. So, yeah, man, like my whole journey there was clearly about, okay, I literally came here without having just a true purpose,
Yeah.
and I developed a purpose while I was there. So when I was working at the whiskey, man, I started networking with a lot of bands that I was booking. And so those bands was like, man, look, you think you could book us some more shows? I'm like, where? Like we want a show in Seattle. We need shows in Sacramento. We need shows in New York. You think you could do that for me? So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. Like I'll give it a shot. So, I was booking shows online and stuff. Reaching out to venues, making calls, and I was getting paid for that. So that's when a business aspect of my mind popped. I said, dang, okay, I'm with the whiskey and I'm making money. I'm making enough money on the side. So I said, okay, what should I do? Should I leave this and push this? So that's when I decided to quit the whiskey. When I resigned, and
Was it any hate and
then
discontent between you and that organization once you left, or did you tell them why you left, or you just told them, "Hey, I'm out, and I don't owe nobody any excuse."
yeah, I told them, I said, I think I'm gonna be a booking agent, and they were like, you need to get licensed. That's what they kept telling me.
Yeah,
All right, I ended up getting licensed at the United Talent Agency, the
yep,
UTA. So I said, I think I'm gonna be a booking agent. And I ended up getting licensed. I was working for them for a minute, but kind of still work for them.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
but they're the broker. I'm not. They don't own my company, but my company is slick politically under them.
yeah. Under their
That makes
umbrella.
sense. Yeah, I work for the UTA, and then I started my own company, bro. Pretty much picking up everything they taught me. Everything I was taught at the whiskey and everything the UTA taught me, kind of put it all together. And then everything Direct TV taught me too, as far as like sales point. I kind of put
Correct.
it all together, and started our booking company. So yeah, we started in 2014. I didn't pay myself until 2017.
Come on. All
You
money
see what
went
I'm
back
saying?
into your investment.
Yeah, I didn't write I didn't get a check until 2017.
Now, was that because of the mind frame that you had that, hey, I needed to invest my money back into my organization and my business, or was it that, hey, I was not able to make the money that I wanted to make in order to make that happen?
Me and I'll say my accountant. That's what I'm crashing with right now. My accountant. She said, before she was my accountant, she said you need to set yourself a goal, right? And I said, yeah, what's the goal? She said, well, you need to make this much money before you could do this. Like when you make this much money, that's when you can cut yourself a percentage of this. No, so I said, well, okay, cool. She said, so you haven't hit the milestone yet, so you can't pay yourself till you hit the milestone.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, what? Like, man, like, come on, bro.
Were
She
you
said,
were you
nah.
ever tempted to at any point? Were you looking at the money come in and you're like, man, I could really go do this with it, or will you just always like, hey man, I'm sticking to my goal?
I had to stick to the goal, dog, because
Yeah,
she wasn't going like because see, this is what she taught me. Um, when she because she went to USC, she went to University of Southern California.
Southern California. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know. We always debate on that, but I guess their business department is a lot better. I don't know, but
I don't know about that. I'll challenge you with that. I'm actually looking to when I finish my master's in December. I'm JSU business administration and their public administration is damn. Public administration is ranked number one. I was surprised. I was like, really?
yeah,
They're
they
like,
they
yeah,
they good at yeah they good at that. I agree.
yeah,
She always said this which she still do like, hey, hit your goal, pay yourself, or you know treat yourself once you hit your goal. Cause she told me, she said, you ain't hit no real goals yet.
yeah,
I said, well, what's a real goal? She said, well, in my opinion, you need to hit 6 digits before you can do anything.
yeah,
Like 6 digits. I
yeah.
said, yeah,
Yo, I remember coming from McDonald's dollar menu, and you talking about six figures, right?
yeah. She said you can hit 6 figures before you can do it. I said 6 figures. She said, yeah, or it's just gonna sit here until you go at 6 figures. So I said, man, Marisol on some shit right now. I don't know. I think.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, free.
Okay,
Hey,
okay,
this free
okay.
form, baby. This free form. Say whatever come to your heart, bro.
Yeah, I said Marisol on some shit, man. I'm like, what else? So what it did though, it made me go harder.
Yeah,
Like it literally made me go hard. Like her mindset and her rules, bro, was just like crazy. Like it just
yeah,
literally made me go hard. So I actually keep that mentality today. Like, okay, I
yeah,
gotta do this before we can do this. I gotta do this before we do this. So when I finally hit those 6 digits, dog, it took me 2017 to do that.
yeah,
From 2004, it took me 3 years to do that. I said, bang, I actually did it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
As an entrepreneur, with the money that's in the business. This is not money coming from other stuff. This is the money in the business. So when I hit those figures, and she was able to write me a check. From then on, dog, I said I have to keep 6 figures in our account.
yeah.
Can't go below 6 figures.
That becomes
We
our new
go below
zero.
6 figures, I cannot write myself a check at
And
all.
it's funny you say that because a lot of people that I know that are doing very well in their organization business. I had somebody a conversation that was offline the other day with a gentleman and his family, and they were telling me, man, they were like, your zero changes as you keep progressing up. He's like, your zero when you're working at McDonald's was $0. When you have zero, you have nothing. He's like, as you get up there, you start getting into the tens of thousands. You get to 10K, you might get up to 20K, and then you look up, you only have $12,000, $11,000 in your account, and you like, shit, what did I do with all my money? And most people like, damn, you still got 10K, but then you just realize that you messed around with the money too much, but you keep setting these standards. And for you, we see that standard, you like, hey, it got to be 6 figures. If it get below 6 figures, I start to wonder, like, what's going on, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's how I am, bro. I'm like, okay, man, we gotta take sacrifice,
yeah.
period. So even today, like, even with the company, we went from me, Marisol, Alejandra, Maria, Liz, went for 5 people. Now we at 18.
And that's crazy that you said that because that's next on my list. You got quite the level of high skilled women in your organization, bro. You got Gemini, Vanity, Cassie, Rhea, Simona. If I'm saying their names wrong, please, forgive
Yes.
me. Martina, Callie, Joyce, and several others. How did you get to this point of going from just you, the booking agent, the guy that's just starting the organization, to now you have this plethora of organization and employees? And let me remind you, hey, they mostly all women. Was that something that was intentional by choice? Was it that you found that they were the best candidates? How did that come to be?
One thing is the fact that most women tend to. This is just my opinion, This is just but I think women actually kind of to a certain level want to go harder
Yeah.
than men because they have to. Most
Yes.
yeah, most of the women in my organization, in our company, well, our company, because I have to say our. well, first of all, I gave them all a role. I said, okay, once you come through and you go through these things, I'm gonna make you something that's gonna give you some type of control. So where like, okay, you need the money coming in order for you to eat.
Correct.
So you're gonna have some type of power over something. Even if I don't have the power over something, you're gonna have some type of power over something. So I think it just it's they don't you can't just come to third eye and just say how I want to work. Like
Yeah.
nah, it's a process, and I think
Yeah.
it was more like it's more like those individuals that really want it. They come through because they really want it, and a lot of them just happen to be women.
Yeah.
And I kind of got I kind of got some reviews from that, like, hey, why, you know, you got all these women working. I'm like, well, number one, I thought women can get opportunities. You know what I'm saying? These days,
Facts. Facts.
so that's one thing. Like, okay, you can't say that I would never give an opportunity to a woman. A woman. Now, don't get me wrong. I do have men that we have partnerships with. But on the third eye, man, yeah, it just happened to be all women. And
And that's a
a lot
good
of
thing
women
too
just
that I
draw other women in. A
Yeah,
lot of them just kind of.
I see that a lot, bro. Because especially with me, anybody that will see this in the world, I have recruited people from all over, all shapes of sizes and life and background. And when I was in the Marine Corps as a recruiter, I was known for recruiting women into the military because I saw my mom. I lost my mom in '96, then I lost my other mom, and I have always had seen in the military where women always had it harder. I don't care what nobody say, women have it harder in this world, and to give them an opportunity to just be equal is a powerful thing. And believe it or not, when you give a woman the opportunity to be on the same sheet of music in the same level as everybody else, boy, they outshine. And I always used to say in the Marine Corps, I had a female empowerment group, and I always used to tell my ladies, when you walk in the room, you need to own that shit because 9 times out of 10 when you walk in, you already being devoured by everyone around you. So you have to walk in with that posture that I own this shit, I own this, and kudos to you for that. I am 100% behind you on that. And so was do you find that when this happens, do you believe the diversity is that what contributes to the success of your company?
I think so. It's definitely the diversity. Because we don't just have. We got black women. I got one white girl, but we got black women. Well, she's actually Russian.
Yeah.
So we got black women. Then we got one from India. No, that's Indian. I got a girl from Japan. One from Korea. Uh, everybody else. Well, Marisol is actually from Canada. In fact, put it this way: only one person in Third Eye Booking Company dog is from Los Angeles. One,
Hey, come on.
and
Hey.
that's Monica, and she's Cambodian.
Yeah.
It's only one person is from LA, but everybody in Third Eye actually were people who came to LA seeking opportunity, like everybody else. Come to LA
Yeah.
seek opportunity. So yeah, they're all from other places, and I think the diversity is really what makes us, who we are. Shine. I mean, I don't think. Well, I think we're the best company on the planet. Couldn't tell me nothing different. But I think we actually have the level to be up there with those higher agencies. Those are $1 billion companies. Shoot, I tell Cali, and I tell because Cali from Mississippi. I only got, well, really one agent that's actually from Mississippi. That's Cali. Martina's live in Mississippi, but she's not from here.
Yeah.
Will used to live here at one point because she went to Chastain with us. And
Yeah.
Simone used to live here, but she's from Washington State.
Okay.
But we all talk about stuff, and I tell them like, look, man, look, everybody, every business on this planet that's big started from something small.
Yes, it did.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't just open up a big business. Like, just because the business, and I think that's another thing too. The mindset that we have, like, if you have a big building, that doesn't make your business big. You
Correct.
just have a, you know what I'm saying? You just have a big building, or I have, I got an office space and all this shit. Okay, but what does that mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
really mean anything. Like
Yeah,
the
we learned that
money,
during COVID. We learned that during COVID big time, where
yeah,
all these big organizations paying all this money to put us in buildings, and then COVID hits, and we have to go back to being at home, and people are shocked that we could still accomplish the same task that we were doing in a building Monday through Friday.
right. But yeah, it was the thing, like we had so much potential. Like I feel like my team, dog, the way I train them, whatever. Like, hey, you could be anywhere and make some money. You could be on your phone in your bed, sleep. You know what I'm saying, and make money. But I was gonna bring it up though. COVID hit us hard, dog. COVID is really when I really just started going harder because of COVID. The venues were closed, no shows, no concerts. So that really, really, really hit us in the face. And when COVID hit us in the face, man, dog, I literally almost just like, man, you know what? Fuck this music shit, dog. Fuck this booking shit. I'm out to figure something out. I wanted to. That's when I got into teaching.
Yeah,
No,
because
because
in
I said, I got.
2020, uh, you ended up going to school or coming back to Mississippi. I'm correct, and teaching, starting your teaching career.
I came back to Mississippi, bro, in 2017
Okay.
because I was able to pay myself. Number one, number two, I wanted my own house. I
Yeah.
wanted my own property. Because LA, man, you rent. Yeah,
Woo,
like my granddad
boy.
had always gave me this philosophy. He said, look, put your money in too much stuff that you would never be able to own.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, he said, you got to be able to own what you put. He said, if you go to the store, you buy something, it's yours. But if I buy this car, it ain't mine until I actually have the paperwork on it.
Correct. Till you got that
And so,
title in hand.
so he said, if you buy something, make sure at one point you'll be able to own it. So I was putting like $3,000 into rent, dog, a month, bro.
Yeah.
I did the math. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
just bought three houses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In
Okay, you
Mississippi,
bought somebody else three houses.
right? In Mississippi, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, man, I gotta go back to the silk. Came back, and to be real, dog, when I came back to Mississippi, nothing really changed as far as like my
Yeah, boy.
income. Yeah, because I'm still on my computer, I'm still on my phone, whatever. So yeah, man, technology kind of like just made. I think COVID kind of like woke everybody up to kind of like see like, okay, technology when you use it to your advantage. But we have been doing it already.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that when the venue circuit shut down, dog, bro, we were like asked out. We had to
Yeah.
make money.
X.
So I was coming up with so many different ways, bro, to just accumulate income. That's when I started Corinthian FIC. That's what we do, credit card machines, and
So tell me a
ATM.
little bit about that. Like, I know that you're the owner of Corinthian Fight, which is financial investment and consulting. What was it that y'all started doing with the machines and different things like that?
But it's actually just me, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm solo in this. Like I started Corinthian FIC because I got approached by a guy in Boston who sold credit card terminal swipes. And he asked me, he said, hey man, you ever been interested in selling terminal swipes? I said, man, I don't think I'm good at selling anything. So I sold direct TV before. He said, well, I'm gonna tell you what, I want to give you a shot at this. He said, the thing about this is this. If you give somebody a terminal swipe, I'm gonna give you full the all the money from it. I
Okay.
said, what you mean? He said, well, I'm gonna give you all this terminal swipe is $1,200. You're gonna make $1,200. I'm like, what? You just give me you just giving me money?
What's the catch, right? What's the catch,
Yeah, I'm
right?
like, what's this? He said, well, I'm making money off residual. I said, well, what's the residual? He said, well, every time somebody swipe their card, I get a percentage from that. I'm like, okay. He said, so the banking fees is what I'm making money on. But you can make money on the banking fees too, if that's what you want to do. So I said, let me just see what happens. Let me just try this out. I sold like two machines, I'll never forget it. And I got the $2,400.
Yeah.
Literally. Made that money, $2,400. But I learned that this fool, after two machines that year, had accumulated over $50,000.
Because all them swipes.
Yeah, swipes. And I'm like,
Mhm.
man, like, what the hell am I doing wrong?
I got hustle.
He really just kind of. taught me the game, dog, on just okay, this is how the finance world works. You know, we make money, and God, what's the guy's name? But I met him. He's actually the CEO of Starbucks at the time. I don't know if he
Okay.
still is now, but I was in Seattle, bro, and this guy, we talked, and he said, Howard Schultz, Howard Schultz, that was his name. We
Okay.
talked. He said, man, you know what a entrepreneur's dream is? And I said, make money, get rich. So, well, yeah, but he said that's easy. You can make money and get rich. He said, but how do you want to do it? And I said, I mean, you got to get out there and hustle. I'm just being regular with. He was like, nah. I mean, we know that, but what do you really want to do? Like, how do you want to make your money? I said, I don't know. He said, well, entrepreneurs' dream is to make money in their sleep.
Mm. Yeah.
And I said, make money in my sleep. He said, yes, you want to make money in your sleep. He said, just think about it. That means that you could go to bed and you can wake up and you can look at your account and it's 10 times more than what it was when you was awake. He said, that's because you're making money without having to see it or touch it. There's ways you can make money in your sleep. And that's what David Gerald, the guy that's over me with the terminal, he said, I make money in my sleep.
Yeah.
He said, other people make money for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, man. He said, yeah, you
That
got to
passive
think for it.
income is something different, bro. That passive income.
Yeah, he said, man, he said, I see you got your company, whatever, you out hustling. And that's what I like about you. You ready to get it. He said, but you ever just thought about just chilling out, just doing one thing, and then one thing accumulates you a lot of money. I
Yeah.
said, okay. So that's when I got into the man. That's when I got into that, bro. I sold those first two machines, dog. Made that $2,400. I was willing to give that back to see what he had did, cause that's what it started from. I said, bro, you made this much money, dog, off them two machines, dog. I would give you this back to tell me your secret to whatever you did. So
Yeah.
I kept the money, but when I learned about the swipe, the terminal swipe, and set my own percentages with the bank, that's what it
Yeah.
hit. So
Yeah.
be real, dog. Be honest with you, bro. Just all honest. You don't see me promote that or talk about it much on the internet. I
Yeah.
don't really have to. To be honest, like it's just there, and it
Yeah.
does what it do, and my name is on it, and that's all that matters. So I
Yeah.
I, I learned that okay, man, you really can make money in your sleep.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I'm a big advocate for making sure that people know you can go and hustle and you can make $100,000, or you can go and you could try to find passive incomes. I mean, the passive incomes you're going to have to do some leg work up front, but
mhm.
on the return, that's why I was telling somebody the other day was, yeah, I learned on recruiting duty, the people you talk to and the stuff you do now is not for now, it's for 90 days from now, it's for 6 months from now. And when you do it, it could possibly be for the rest of your life. So definitely kudos to you on that. And that's what we pull forward a little bit, where you started this other path, which was you started studying for your master's of art at Belhaven University. With all of this stuff going on, what made you transition into the teaching realm?
Well, it was kind of an accident, bro. Cause like I said, back in 2020 with Third Eye, bro, no shows were happening. My money's is going away. COVID-19 was a negative effect on the music industry, the booking industry. There was also a negative effect as consumers because people weren't just going to the store swiping cards. You know what I'm
Everything was
saying? It was
digital,
all
man.
internet based. Everything was internet based. I weren't getting paid. Like I tell people all the time, like bro, like just because I have a company that got money in it, don't mean that I got the money. It ain't my money. It's the company money.
Yeah.
This is Third Eye's money. This is not my money. I said so. If they don't make money, I can't get paid. Nobody in the company can get paid. So bro, we was at a brick wall, dog. So what I did was I said, okay, I gotta find something to do. I got a daughter. And she was 1 year old at the time.
So
Yeah,
I don't want to skip past that. That's a
you
very
good.
pivotal moment. You end up having your first kid, your daughter. How was that for Corinthian during all that? You got COVID going on, you got the business, it's not doing as well as you wanted to. You have this kid that comes, and did that change Corinthians' mindset, or did it say, "Oh, it's just it's just a kid. Like I'm good. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing." What happened with that?
Man, I tell people all the time, anytime you have a child, bro, your mindset should change automatic. Because
Yeah,
whatever you have, bro, it's not enough. Like it can't be enough. Like I'm like, I
yeah,
got a daughter that I ain't got enough. And to the average person, bro, like I allegedly had enough money to take care of my family.
yeah,
To my fiance, I was good. But bro, in my mind, I'm not. Like, no.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like some ain't connected. Like the puzzle, it's a piece of the puzzle missing. So when I had her, bro, I had a house. Literally. I had a house, cars, all that, and just wasn't clicking to me. Like I'm not good. So
yeah.
that's when and let me I'm gonna bounce back a little bit.
Okay.
When you have a when you're an entrepreneur like myself, I came in as an entrepreneur. I'm thinking about the money, but I'm not thinking about the security. I
Yeah,
wasn't thinking about security. I'm like, damn, my daughter got to be secure. No, I didn't have no insurance, none of that stuff. I didn't have none of that.
yeah,
I'm not thinking about going to the hospital and all that shit. That's not what I'm thinking about. Blood pressure and all that. That's not what I'm thinking
yeah,
about. So man, I started thinking more about my health, and I started thinking about my daughter. My daughter gotta be healthy too. She gotta eat. Damn, I gotta get insurance. I gotta have this. I gotta have this. I gotta have that.
yeah.
Okay, I got the money, but all this shit is like super expensive,
Yes, it is. Yeah,
and I gotta be super super secure. So I started teaching because the benefits came with it, bro.
yeah,
No, working for the state, the benefits come with it. So as a teacher, I get a check every month like everybody else, and it's
yep.
cool. But having the insurance down, the
Mm-hmm.
Medicare, that's really what's important to me for her, myself. Cause dog, I done had a stroke, dog. Like
Yeah.
none of that was. I wasn't
A
expecting.
stroke? You done had a stroke?
Yeah,
Oh man, did
straight
that
up.
scare you?
Dog, bro. When I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it happened.
Yeah.
I just remember waking up in the hospital.
Oh man.
My mom was affirming me like, "Hey, you know you had a stroke." I'm like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What? How?"
Yeah,
You
but
overworking
you know that,
yourself.
that stress of pushing yourself, and I think the mental aspect of it. We had a classmate of ours that just passed away. Rest in peace, Darius Davis. They call him Fatback. He was in Jackson. He had a late night kitchen, and I had just got some food from him the last time I was in Jackson. But Darius Davis is called the Trap Kitchen. He would sell stuff between the hours of like 10 to like 5 in the morning. But he had a stroke. I mean, he was doing so well, and now I try to preach to all my people out there, man. Make sure we checking our health, especially just being young people. We feel like we Superman. We feel like we can take on the world. So hearing that, man, did you end up finding out how that occurred, and are you able to counter it or what?
Well, it was my blood pressure, bro.
Yeah,
Blood pressure was going high, and I think I remember telling you like when I tried the military, when I went for the military, that was an issue. My blood pressure wouldn't allow me to go through.
yeah,
So yeah, man, my blood pressure had got up. When it got up, I guess it got to the point where what I'm saying, I had a stroke. But my dad died of a stroke.
yeah.
Yeah, he died of
So,
2014 stroke related. So it runs
so
in my.
that brings me to the next question, which was, with your daughter being in the picture, you working the businesses, the health issue popped up. Did you ever feel afraid becoming a father because now you are the person that you at one point despised, at the one point you push to want to have a relationship with, and one point now you yearn to say, hey, look, I wish I could talk to that person now. Did you ever feel like that you were going to fall into that same category? Did you ever feel like that you might fall into the same suit and your daughter could see you like that? Or did you know that because of all the things that you had done, I'm good, I'm going to be able to take on this task head first?
Yeah, man, that's yeah. It's kind of hard to answer, bro, because I had this stroke last year, bro.
Yeah.
So, well, no. I had this stroke. I don't know why I keep saying last year because I went to the doctor December 24th. I didn't I didn't realize that it stroke until January.
Yeah.
So, and you know why I went to the doctor, bro? I went to the doctor because I had the flu.
Mm.
Yeah, and January the 9th is when I woke up, remembering that I woke up, and the doctor telling me, hey, my mom told me, hey, you had multiple strokes. And I'm like, wait, what? They're like, yo, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So it's still in my head, like, okay, am I going to be able to fulfill the tasks that I need to fulfill for her? Be able to do the things that I know I need to do. So that's when I kind of came to realization that, bro, you need to really kind of slow down a little bit,
Yeah.
and chill out, especially being a teacher, dog, because my daughter is one thing, my students are also another thing. So I have to be
Yeah.
able to fulfill their tasks. The tasks that I need to fulfill for them to get educated. It was a lot going on in my head. I even remember going back to work, dog, and I didn't realize how much my students like actually depended on me. Like,
Yeah.
where were you? Like, we heard you were sick. We thought you quit on us. Stuff like that. It makes me want to, like, okay, that's why I go to the gym every day now. That's why I work out. That's why I
Yeah.
try to eat healthy. I try to like stay away from the salt, all the fat and the greases though. Cause like I gotta deal with her. And I
Yeah.
gotta deal with more children. This is my
Yeah.
career. Man, it opens some doors for me, bro.
Yep. And when you said that you started, eating better, going to the gym, have you found any other ways on the mental side or even on the physical side to help manage that stress and to get that blood pressure down?
Man, mental health is so important, bro, because my brother was schizophrenia before he died. My brother died 2023, but he was in prison. He had an episode of schizophrenia. So trying to stay trying to stay balanced, dog, it's a struggle.
It is.
And one thing I learned, just giving yourself, you need to. I put I put so much, dog, into so much other stuff that realistically don't even mean anything to me or don't have to mean anything to me, but I make it mean something to me. Like being a teacher, dog. I had over 80 days that I could have took off work, and I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Like,
And
why?
I think we struggle with that, brother, because I was in the military. Every after my fourth year, I went on. I went to Iraq. Went on a mule. Went to Haiti. Went on deployments. Seen whatever. But at the end of the day, I got back and I was on my fourth year re-enlisting, and they were like, "Bro, you got too many days to do." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'll take a couple to like, bro. You're at 184 days, bro. How did you even do this?" I'm like, "Well, they told me it was a waiver for me to be able to save up days while I'm on deployment because I kept extending because I just like helping." And they were like, "Bro, you gotta take them. It's like like you take them or you're gonna lose them." I remember at one point I was fiending to be back at work, bro, because they made me take 60 days off after I got ready to transition from North Carolina to New Orleans. I took 30 days. They made me check in one day just to give me a break in service and then made me take another 30 days. And I was like, bro, I would lose my mind. But it's very important that we do that, bro. And we feel like, I always tell people, bro, the day that we missing and the world falls apart as a leader, that's a bad thing. To us, we make it seem like we're so special, right? That the world can't function without us,
That's
right?
what I was gonna,
But
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
yeah,
that's yeah. I think like I didn't want. It was almost like a big deal for me. Like, man, I ain't never took a day off work.
yeah,
I could. And then my friends were like, bro, like, this school gonna go on regardless. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the principal. I done took out multiple days. I got to run this school. Like, what is gonna happen if you decide to take a day off? I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I gotta do it.
Ain't nobody do it like me, you know?
But he told me he kind of put it in my head. He said, bro, you know what you done, dog? That's a little different. I said, what's that? He said, you're an entrepreneur. Then you decide to get a job. That's usually the other way around.
Yeah.
People have jobs and they don't want to do the job, so they
And they
want to
become
make
a
money on themselves. He said, so you so used to like going forward because you have to. If you don't do this, you're not gonna make money, dude. The time you clock in, bro, at work, the time. In fact, you on a salary, bro. You gonna
yeah.
get paid regardless. You
Yep.
good. So what are you? He said, what are you tripping on? I said, well, dang, like, well, I gotta do this. He said, nothing's gonna change. Your paycheck gonna be the same
Yeah.
every month as it is, as it always been. So, dude, just take some time out. Don't stress it. Let it go. And when I
Yeah.
took them days off, dog, it was like I was just stressed the fuck out, dog. Like,
yeah.
okay, I wonder what such and such doing. I wanted to such and such get this. I wanted. He said, just wipe that shit out of your head, dog.
But you
Be
want to know
good.
something that helped me cope with that? Out the Marine Corps now, but when I left recruiting duty, the recruiting station that I had fell apart. It was so much turmoil and stuff that happened. A lot of the people that were recruited, they ended up not going in. But the whole point was I didn't set my future leaders up for success. But at the time, we were the number one recruiting station in all of Mississippi and Louisiana. I was making numbers. People were recruiting. The morale was high. I had a recruiter that wrote like 14 people in 1 month. I had another recruiter that wrote six. One just run rookie recruiter of the region. I had got staff NCO of the year, and our recruit station got small station of the year. And when I left, it just all fell apart. And I was like, man, that's crazy, man. When I left, it was wild, sir. And he was like, well, Paris, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this. You gotta learn how to set your super or your future successors up for success. So, I always challenge people now, like when you leave, try to instill that leadership in somebody and give them a chance to take off. Kind of the same thing you do with your company, where you said you hit the nail on the head when you said I give everyone some power so that they know that they have ownership in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
So
like even with Third Eye Booking Company, like my CEO, the CEO of the company isn't me. I don't want to. I don't want to control everything, like because I felt like Benita has more skill set to be a CEO.
yeah,
In any company, any big business, the CEO is never really going to be the owner or the founder. They're usually just the owner and the founder, and they just appoint somebody to be the CEO. So when I appointed Benita to be the CEO, she said, "Okay, I'm the CEO. I got this. I'm gonna hire the manager. I'm gonna hire this. I'm gonna hire this. You just chill out.
yeah,
I just collect the bag. But I mean, I got a salary like everybody else. But when it's time to make decisions or whatever, I let my manager. I'm gonna let Jim and I make those decisions. I'm gonna let
yeah.
Monica make those decisions. I'm gonna step in and give my 2 cents. But Jim and I might be like, well,
That's
I
not
don't
the
think
right
that's a
move
good
to make.
idea.
But I think it goes back to the question that the guy asked you at the beginning when you were up in Seattle, talking with the former CEO of Starbucks,
Yeah.
where he said, what is every entrepreneur's dream? And I would challenge that answer he gave. And what you're describing is every entrepreneur's dream. Is obviously to sit and make the money, but when you get past the money, you see something that you built. Same thing that I'm doing currently right now. I'm converting my TV show to a book, and then also working to get my TV show on TV. And when I tell people, ultimately, it's just see something that you build in full motion without you being hands on. Like you are
Hmm.
watching your company work, and you like, I did that. Yeah, you could jump in and
Right.
make it a little bit better, but ultimately, hands off, no matter what, it's still flowing. Like I used to tell people, I'm not that important in the military. I used to think I was, but at the moment that I left, they had somebody else in my seat. Might not be doing it as perfected as I did, but at the
Yeah.
same time, the task was still getting accomplished. So
Exactly.
I think that's what it boils down to. So
You kind of hit it on the nail. You building something that somebody else can sit in your seat and they could do it as great as you did it. They may not do
Yeah.
it the exact way you did it, but they could do it as great as you did it. And I feel like my company is I wanted to outlive my daughter.
Yeah.
I wanted to outlive her kids. The platform had to start somewhere. Even in third eye, training people for leadership, training you for leadership. I'm training you to be able to. If I'm not here at this moment, can you do it?
Can you
You know
make
what I'm
that
saying?
decision?
Right. If I'm not here at this moment, can you do it? You need to know the company from in and out. You need to know inside out of the company. You need to know. You need to be able to make a decision without me.
Yeah. But
And
you know,
I'm
some
glad I
people are so power hungry that they'll never give that responsibility. And that speaks to your intellect and your willingness to want to see somebody grow. Everybody want to see you grow, but they don't want to see you grow to be better than them.
and I'm glad you said that, bro, because I think power hungry takes away from a lot of success for people.
It
Like when
do.
you like me, people ask me like, bro, like what do you do? I'm not no CEO. I'm not a CEO. Like I don't want to be a CEO. Like if a company was to say, hey, Coco, we think you're good enough to be a CEO of the company. You got to learn this whole entire company. You got to be able to hire the people who gonna hire people. You see what I'm saying? You got to be able to be the boss it is. But this is the way I would think I would want this company to be. Like
Yeah,
I'm gonna choose you to do it. You know, man, that's a big step, dog.
it
But
is.
but Nita wanted to be a CEO.
Yeah,
She wanted that. I said, okay, what can you do? She telling me stuff that I'm like, dang, okay, well, maybe her ideas 10 times better than mine. I don't know. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? I don't know. But I'm gonna have to give her a shot because somebody gave me shots at multiple stuff.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? Somebody gave me opportunities at multiple stuff. But I'm not a CEO and I make that clear like this is my boss.
yeah.
She's the executive officer. She handles that. Manager and Monica, they manage. They got management positions. I don't go over their heads. If they say, hey,
Correct.
this is what it's gonna be, that's what it's gonna be. If Gemini say, hey, this is who we gonna hire, that's your world. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Monica say, hey, this how the booking gonna be regarding this. Hey, that's your world. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna allow you all to do that. And I think that giving people those roles, bro, makes your company stronger because not being so power hungry, dog. Like to be real, bro. What I really want to do, dog, like my life, Jay Nino, dog, go in his garage and just look at his cars, dog, and just that's really what I want to do. Like
yes,
that I want to retire and look at my cars in my garage and,
yeah,
and go fishing.
yeah.
And I just go to my company like, okay, hey, what's going on?
But you know
But
that'll never be possible for people like us, bro. People like us, we always gonna be, and I think that's a good thing because I think finding that balance of being able to do that while also being able to get the desire in your head.
you said we'll never be able to do that regarding like.
Yeah,
But I'm a challenge you on that because I think that those people who were once that went so hard, that everything is a learning experience, bro. Like
yeah,
nobody will ever like in this world of business, I'm a student at everything, dog. I'm a student, dog. I'm not a
yeah,
billionaire. I'm a student, so I've learned things from other people. Like it was entrepreneurs would tell me stuff like, bro, you gonna end up dead. That's literally what a nigga told me. He said, you gonna
yeah,
end up dead. I said, why? He said, cause you going too hard. He said, you going so hard, bro. You either gonna die here for lady or somebody gonna take your ass out. And I said, why you saying that? He said, bro, because everybody know what you do, dog. He said, everybody know. I said, well, what are you saying? He said, you ever thought about putting some people in place that can do the things that you do, training some people to be what that can do what you do, that can be what you do, be what you be. And this is a millionaire. There was a doctor in
yeah,
his own office, and I said, well, maybe I should. I'm gonna go for that. You teach me this, okay? Boom, let me go for it. I'm not an expert, and nothing. I'm not an expert in being a teacher. I'm not an expert in running a business.
But you know, the key in all of that is consistency. Consistency will outperform everyone. And what I meant by that was that once you see something strive, so let's say third eye booking, it goes above and beyond anything you could ever imagine. You probably already imagined the world, but let's say it goes above that. And you say, hey, I can finally just step back. You got it. All y'all got it. I will be a angel person in the back. Now you start to sit, and I noticed this once I got out the military. I had full retirement, full benefits, money was great, and I was able to just sit and do nothing, bro. I was able to sit, play my video game, and just chill with the daughter. And I felt like my mind was rotting. Felt like I was rotting because I had all these great ideas and stuff that I needed to do, the leadership that I saw in myself, and I couldn't put it anywhere. And it took for me to get off of the sideline and say, I'm gonna go get this job working at the PX just between the hours of 8:30 and 1:30 because I wanted to be able to still drop my daughter off and pick her up. And then from there, I was like, I saw some issues going on at this PX, and I was like, bro, all you gotta do is this, this, and this. Like the manager needs to do this. You need to let her off. You need to do this, do that. Parents, where you learn how to do that? Oh, I used to work. I work for the military a little bit. Oh, you was in the military? Yeah. Then they look at my record. They like, yo, you weren't just in the military. Like you were higher up. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, I don't do that no more. I'm just chilling. I just wanted to give you my perspective. I had to learn that no matter how much I want to step away, even now with the podcast, the TV show, the TikTok, the book, the working for the government, security analysis, all this stuff, I tried to get away from it, but it's like it draws you back in because you just know when you see somebody else doing it, you're like, I could just tweak it a little bit.
Right.
But I'm hoping I want to do what you're doing. I mean,
Well,
walk out and
well, dude, this is what I learned, dog, over the years. Like every new person that came into Third Eye, dog, they had an idea, and I thought my idea was the best idea in the world until I heard
yeah,
their idea. That's
yeah,
okay, damn. Okay, you done taught me something. Okay, you know what? Go for it. What do you want me to do? Go for it. And it
yeah,
worked. And my idea probably wouldn't have worked. It
yeah,
probably wouldn't have worked. And then I get Callie in. She had an idea. Okay, all right, I like it. Boom, it's working. Faith, which is the newest person we got. She had an idea. Okay, whatever. Go for it. Boom. And I forgot Faith. She's the only Asian that's actually from California. I forgot about that. But
yeah.
her ideas work. Okay, bam. Okay, boom. Do I really need to be here?
See, but I think that you do in a sense that you're giving people a platform to explore their realm that they never would have got. And I think that's the same thing. I'm a big Jason Tatum
Oh,
basketball Boston Celtics fan, right?
okay.
But I am very one person that I hate and despise LeBron James only because he's never been a Celtic. Other than that, he's a great father,
Come
great
on, you a
businessman,
Celtics fan, right?
huh?
You a Celtics fan?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
since Paul
that's my number
Pierce.
one team. Yeah,
Oh, so we in there, we in there.
yeah,
But
number
only
one.
reason why I don't like LeBron is because he never wore a Celtics uniform.
Okay.
But you can't take away the greatness that he does. He gives everyone a platform to be able to do the things that they do, and that's one thing that I say that you're doing now. You're giving people a platform to be the leaders that they want to be. That they never would have got their opportunity. They never would have got that chance to throw that idea out there and see if it works. So I guarantee they might not look at it now, or they might. And they might not say, "Oh, Corinthian, I'm so thankful. I appreciate it." They don't have to say it, but in the back of their head, they're thinking it. And I definitely my hats off to you with that.
Oh
So,
man, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, man.
oh,
It's so weird, dog. Like I be like looking at myself now, and then I be looking at myself like back then. Like, dude, I'm literally from Section 8.
yeah,
Me, like literally. And then I be like, okay, I'm from like this, and now I be like, damn, like I actually got somebody who writes me a damn check every month. Or
yeah,
if I could call like, hey, Benita, I need you to write me a check, and I'd be like, okay, they're like, who can literally call somebody and say, hey, can you write me a check? They don't exist everywhere. Like that's not everybody's lifestyle. But I can honestly say that my lifestyle is actually to a comfort level where I can just make a call and say, Benita, I need a check. How much money can you give me for the week? You know, and that's my lifestyle. And I think all my agents, I think they all really have that entrepreneurship mentality because all of my agents are their own entrepreneurs. Put it that way.
yeah,
They all feed off the company. They it's like the company is blood and they vampires. They feed off everything that we do in the company. They take it and they flip it and they kind of implement it in what they do a little bit. But
Yeah.
I done it. I did it with Direct TV. I did it with the Whiskey a Go Go. I did it. So they all have student mentalities, which I like. But
Yeah.
it's no, at the same time, I'm a student, bro. Like even my students at school, they teach me. My students in the classroom teach me.
Yeah.
They still teach me. It's stuff that they teach me. I'll be like, okay, dang, okay. You know, so I'm gonna go for that because we don't know everything, dog. We
Facts.
yeah, we don't know everything. And one of my kids though, dog, well last year he's going to eighth grade now, but he said, "Miss Coco, you ever thought about getting into the crypto coins currency?" I said, "Man, I ain't doing that shit." He told me tell you why you should do it. He kind of gave me this lecture, dog. I'm like, okay. So this is how you got to do. All you got to do is do this, and if you do this, bro, if you put this much money in it, I bet you this. And I went for it. I said, okay, you know, I'm gonna go for this. You know, I'm like, dang, I kind of know a little crypto, but it actually, I'm like, well, okay, wow, okay, I
Yeah.
like it. It may do something, I don't know, but I got like 27,000 in crypto, putting this much in. I'm like, okay, wow, dog, okay. Do I owe you a finder's fee or some shit? Like, what you know what I'm saying? You know, and then that's the thing too, bro. Like, I'm never one of them people, them gatekeeper motherfuckers, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm never that. I do find myself laying low if I have to. You know, even
Yep.
my bands, you know, all of our clients, you know, I got some. I think I got some of the best clients, dog, music wise. That's not famous. I got people. There's other companies out here, dog. They're not as successful because they gatekeep their clients so much. I'm like, bro, why you won't allow your client to do South by Southwest? Like, why? Because you
Yeah.
gatekeeping so much, and it has never been me like the Jackson local scene, dog. I was big
Yeah.
in the Jackson local scene when I was doing shows in Jackson. I was huge. I started bumping to our league, gatekeeping motherfuckers. They gotta gatekeep this, gatekeep that, gatekeep that. I did a music festival in the city of Jackson for 2 years. Third Eye Music Festival. Did amazing those 2 years. Then everybody want to put their hand in. Oh, we gotta do this. You gotta do this. You gotta do this. And I realized that they're really just trying to gatekeep some shit. Hey, you can have this shit, dog. I'm in my
Yeah.
20s. Do what you want to do regarding the scene. As long as you do great, make some money. Like Akeem Ali. Me and Akeem Ali was in the same group when I was doing music.
Yeah.
I knew that man was gonna be great. I said, I leave this shit at Akeem, and Ray
Yeah.
him because this nigga can rap.
Mm-hmm.
He's an amazing rapper.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm that great of a rapper. Hey, Akeem, hey dog, you gonna do great at what you do, dog.
Yeah.
Keep at it, you know. Like Solids. I remember when Solids was I booked him on first third eye music fest. I said, this nigga cold. You know, he
Yeah.
great. But you got these people, bro, that want to step in and just. And I think Silas learned that though. That's why he's
Yeah.
so great. But you got these people that want to step in and feed off your success, not necessarily making you successful, but trying to do
Correct.
it for them. So yeah, with Third Eye Dog, like we represent bands, we represent artists, but it ain't about me. It's about the art. It's about the product.
Yeah.
You know, it's about the product. So I make sure that I don't do that gatekeeper shit. That's why my team, I put them in places where they can shine, bro. They gotta
Yeah.
be able to shine. Cause I'm gonna be real. This is another thing I was telling somebody. I got some beautiful women that work for me, dog. Straight up. I'm just being real. I got a woman at home, but she'll have to agree. I got some beautiful women that work for me. And when it comes to somebody need to be on the platform, is it gonna be me or is it gonna be Monica? First
Yeah.
thing I say is, okay, no, it's gonna be one of them. Like this is the first interview I've done, bro, about my company where I'm doing it straight up.
Yeah.
That's because me and you bored, but every other interview, it's been them.
Yeah.
It's been them. The views gonna go with it because it's them. I'm like, okay, boom. I'm gonna give it a month. I'm gonna give it a Gemini. You ain't got to mention my name. I don't give a damn. Like hell, um, Marisol, my CEO, Vanita, my CEO, bro. People think she owned the company. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
They don't. That doesn't affect nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. Yeah, I definitely don't have that power mentality that I gotta be first. Or I gotta be the one that they talk. Like nah, bro. I could go to sleep. The money
Fact.
come in, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And,
saying?
and that's the good thing of that's the good thing about being in that predicament is that you're not so dependent on that one thing, and it helps you to be able to try different avenues and give people that platform to stand on. So and that brings us to one of the biggest things that I had to ask you was, throughout this whole process, is there anything that you would do differently in this process if you could go back and give the younger Corinthian any advice? What would you give him?
Man, definitely the consistency, bro. Being as consistent as I am now. I be thinking like, dang, if I wish I would have done this in 2000, 2000. I always say, dang, I wish I would have went back. If I can go back to 2012, this is what I would have done.
Yeah.
Dang, if I would have went, if I would have did this, this would have been this. If I would have focused on this, this would have been this. If COVID-19 would have happened, what I would have done with this. But everything is a learning experience, dog. Like, I think you bump into these avenues that gives you a lesson.
Yeah.
You take that lesson and you able to to improve because there's gonna be some more lessons I'm gonna bump into.
Correct.
Yeah, like I mean, hell, somebody who was that recently? Somebody asked me. They said, how do you take negative reviews as an entrepreneur? I said, well, getting a review is it's a good thing for me
Yeah.
because they my product or my services has reached somebody. It's been here. I got a negative review from New York. I think yeah, from New York. But you was able to get your product here in New York. It
Correct.
wasn't a good review, but I do know that I can make more. I done got more positive reviews from New York because I didn't do what I did the first time to get this review to do what I need to do in New
Yeah.
York. So yeah, like
And
it's
and I
all a
always say that, like, especially with that, you just got to realize the fact any criticism, good criticism, bad criticism, that's a good thing. I mean, how do I feel about it? I mean, hey, people took the time to tell me something to improve, and sometimes people being nasty just don't want to see you do great. But other times, people really have a gripe, whether or not you agree with it, whether or not they know all the details. That's neither here nor there. It's the principle that, hey, how can I look at this complaint and be able to make sure that this doesn't happen going forward? Even if, hey, look, I did 100% of the stuff right and they just got the bad end of it, how can I make sure that even if this worst case scenario, the person still feels like that they were tended to?
yeah, you can't win them all, bro. And that's what I learned.
Yeah.
You can't win them all. You're gonna get some feedback. Like I done got some feedback and it slapped me in the face, bro. Made me want to give up. And I'm like, you know what? That's no like I mean, like my fiance, we'll go out. We'll go somewhere and I just observe, like just
Yeah.
customers, consumers. The waiter will come to the table and then they're like, hey, you didn't give me a straw. You didn't do this. You didn't do this. And the whole restaurant will get negative review uh, uh, because this one person got mad because she didn't get her straw on time.
Yeah.
Like that. And you try to argue the fact, but I'm like, damn, that's just really consumers. Like consumers are very powerful people. They're like
Yeah.
voters. They're no different than voters. They put you in a predicament that makes you work harder, or
Yeah.
make you like, damn, you really just think. But man, it's all psychology, dog. And
It
and,
is.
and who told me that? Cortez Bryant, uh, Young Money CEO at the time, he said business is 20% marketing, 80% psychology.
Yeah, that it is.
And I said, dang, okay. He said 80% of this shit is psychology, dog.
Yeah.
20% of it is marketing. He said the only thing that really matters is what people see. And what people see, they're gonna take it and run with
Yep. That is
it.
true.
Yeah, one
That is
time,
true.
dog, I cussed at school, bro. I mean, I thought I was the best teacher in the world. I cussed in the classroom. And that one cuss word got me where whole goddamn, there was in Madison County School, whole goddamn school district. Oh, that's a bad teacher. I said one
Yeah.
cuss word. Without looking, you know what I'm saying, without looking at everything. It wasn't towards no student or nothing. Said one cuss word. That one student took it home. Mama brought it back to the school, and it came back to me like blows in the face, bro. One cuss word. I said,
Yeah.
hey, like, that was really just psychology,
Well,
dog.
that just goes with the saying that it takes a million years to build a reputation. It'll take 1 minute to let it
So
fall.
to mess it up, right? To mess it up,
Yeah.
100%, 100%,
So,
dog.
oh yeah. Well, I got one last question for you, brother, which is there anything that you want to promote? Anybody that you want to share, audience, or anything like that?
Um, man, I give somebody, I be want to give everybody love, dog. Uh,
Yeah.
any businesses out there, you know, you think how far do your podcast go? That's the question.
It's going. It's going wherever the YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram is going everywhere. So,
Because I want to give Glow Studios a shout out.
okay.
It's Spokane, Washington. It's a group of photographers. It's one of them. It's actually my agent. So she got a
Okay.
partnership with a company, bro, Glow Studios, and they going hard.
Yeah.
And Boys to Men in Jackson, youth group in Jackson, Boys to Men. I'm one of the advisors for that. We're gonna be doing some big things, dog, in the fall. So Boys to Men at Powell Middle School. Well, actually, we bigger than Powell Middle School now. Start off at Powell. Now we doing the high schools. I'm sorry, other middle schools. So Boys to Men, dog. Big shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to a lot of of course, to a lot of people coming up, in the art industry, the music industry. Like I said, Akeem Ali doing great, Silas, 821. That's another rapper from Jackson. A lot of bands, dog. Grant, dog. It's so many, bro. We got like 12
Yeah.
bands on tour right now. So, Granger. Of course not Loud Life. All of
Yep.
them, dog. Big shots out, bro. Alexander Fresco photography. He a rapper and he do photography, dog. It's so many, dog. I show everybody love, bro. It is
Hey,
what
ain't
it
nothing
is.
wrong with it.
It is what it is.
Definitely.
I want to be.
Okay.
This is what I want to be, bro. Next year, I want to be like. I want to get a call from somebody that's gonna say, "Man, no, fuck that." I want to look at CNN and it's like Paris Harrington this much in revenue 2026.
Hey, come on.
And I'm like, damn. I'm like, damn, man. Fuck it. I'm finna outdo that nigga. You
Hey,
feel what
come
I'm
on.
saying?
Got to.
Cause that's how I be thinking, bro. Like, okay, this man done hit the goddamn down the stock market. I'm like, fuck it. Man, ain't no damn way. I finna outdo this
Yep.
nigga. And I'm talking about, man, I'm on TV like, look, bro, that nigga Paris, he think he the shit. He think he getting more money than me, but it's all love.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's
It's
all
always
love,
good,
bro.
friend.
It's
It's
all love.
always friendly competition. I always say you gotta have your goals. You gotta set them. And I learned quick. Friendly competition is always good, and it helps us drive towards something that's better.
Right, 100%, dog, 100%. But
So
yeah, man, I enjoyed it, dog.
yeah, and I definitely appreciate you coming on, man. It was definitely great having a conversation. If there's ever anything you need on my end, you let me know, and we're gonna make it happen. And I appreciate your time, brother.
Oh, no problem, bro. You
All
think
right, all
easy,
right. And I
dog.
appreciate everybody tuning in. Y'all make sure y'all check out the rest of the episodes, and we out.
I got you, dog.
All
Get
right.
easy.